Okay, we are back. A few things. I am glad that we got this up on YouTube. I apologize, that does seem like the microphone sounded very soft last time. I do have somewhat of a soft voice, but I think it also had something to do with the fact that in Cam's studio the microphone wasn't turned, the volume wasn't turned all the way up. So hopefully I've addressed that in this video. I don't want to bore you too much with any technical aspects of doing the Let's Play. And I also apologize that we've gone through about 3 videos now, and we are only in the first room of the game. Some of that has to do with the fact the introduction's a bit lengthy, but I do understand that anyone who's watching probably wants to see some of the action in the game, and I also understand that some people don't really like the commentary in the game. I apologize for that, but I guess that's just how I'm going to do this one, because there isn't any real music. If you just want to watch without the commentary, you can, of course, turn the sound down, but I think this game sort of lends itself also to having a bit more commentary, because it's not quite as direct as some of the other sort of Sierra games like Space Quest or King's Quest. And but we're going to get moving. One thing I did for you this time was that I actually listened to what Krisha had to say off the video, and she pretty much just talks about some magical abilities she has, which aren't too relevant to us, not being magic users. She also talks about the Lion Tor government a little bit, and how Raja the king is Rakish's brother, and we learn a little bit more about details about that later on. Then Raja is a bit of a hothead who is partially responsible for some of the future events in the game and some of the problems they're having right now. We also learned about a peace mission that was sent out between the Simbani and the Leopard, to the Simbani and the Leopard Men, I guess, trying to reconcile. And the peace mission apparently was ambushed, and one of the people who were, or Lion Tors, I guess, who's in the peace mission was Rakish and Krisha's daughter. And we don't know what happened to her. She was apparently either kidnapped or killed, and so the two of them sort of discussed that. And we are going to leave the Lion Tor lair right now. This is also, I apologize, I don't want to rush too much, but this is actually my 4th time trying to get out of this segment of the Let's Play. Just had a couple technical issues and made a couple errors in the game, but hopefully everything's taken care of this time. And as mentioned, we're just going to head out now and start exploring the city of Tarna. And we're informed that we have a room at the inn. This is the second game where we actually get comped at the inn, just like in Quest for Glory 2. Also, we are going to meet with Rakish and the king to discuss the issue of peace and the conflict at this juncture, and also afterwards we're going to go on to Simbani village, and as I think I mentioned before, that's when a lot of the action in the game begins. So we're going to head out, and Rakish just tells us pretty much that we should enjoy Tarna, take a look at it. As we mentioned, it's not that expansive, but we'll take a look. And then Krisha tells us that perhaps we should give them a little bit of time, and we don't really have to go into any details on that, and let's just head out of Rakish and Krisha's house. Now, as you can see, we are in sort of the main, I think they call it mezzanine level at one point in the game, and this is on the quote-unquote human side, the part where only humans are allowed, or pardon me, humans are allowed to go, humans are not allowed to go in the other part of the city, which is supposedly just allowed for Lion Tors. We do see some people in Lion Tor, small sprite images walking across the screen. And one of the things I liked about the Quest for Glory games is that they do give you sort of an illusion, at least, that cities are actually have a significant population. In this game, it's kind of weird, though. It doesn't seem like there's really the facilities to accommodate this population. But I think the Quest for Glory games do a little bit better job of at least making it seem somewhat realistic. This is actually a city versus some of the other games where you just have a couple shops and you don't see how a population really could be supported at all by the limited number of amenities and items in the city, or that there even is much of a population to supposedly populated cities or villages. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time an extraneous commentary. This is the inn right here. This over here is the apothecary. And then where we came out of course, is Krisha and Rakisha's house. And Krisha is willing to live amongst the humans. Now I want to move down to the bazaar level and not go into the apothecary and the inn for the time being, just because I don't want nightfall to come. That actually caught me by surprise in one of my attempts at this video. And I want to make sure we see a scene that has placed some relevance in the game. And we're just going to head down here. I always used to think that this was actually a way out of the city, because it's at the end of the stairs, I guess. And it took me a while to actually find where the bazaar was, so I was kind of confused for a while in the game. And also, here we have the bazaar. I believe this is kind of a parody of Sanford and Son. These two guys are junk salesmen. And then you have a weapon salesman and oil and honey salesmen, and we're not going to deal with them. We're going to try to avoid them actually for a time being, just to deal with one of the issues, or deal with one of the events in the game. And I always also got confused here because I didn't realize you could go down in this area for a while. I guess I don't know why. Hopefully I could just chalk it up to being a kid and not realizing. But I didn't realize that there was, for a while, a lot more shops down there. And we'll check that out later on. But what we're going to do is we're going to save the game right now. And I apologize for, I don't know if it's DOSBox or something else, but it seems to make it take a little time to actually bring up the save dialogue, or the save box. And we're going to, as you can see, I tried to work through it a little earlier, but things didn't work out properly. We're going to save it here. There actually will be an automatic save coming up, and what we're going to do is see a scene. What I wanted to do for you was actually go through a couple different solutions to the scene, but the game runs a little slowly, making it a little difficult to get it done, and I don't think the animation or the events are all that interesting. I'll tell you what happens. I've done it before. But we're going to go up and we're going to see a little bit of not a cut sequence, but just sort of something that runs on autopilot, I guess, a little more than the rest of the game. And let's take a look at that, and I'll let you know about some of the alternative methods for dealing with the situation, but we're going to take probably the most conservative method, or one of the most conservative methods for doing so. It takes a little bit of time to load up, because it is a sequence that is peculiar to this one part of the game. But usually just going up here doesn't take that much time to load. Okay, so as you can see, there's a dispute taking place at the end of the bazaar. This is the money changer over here, and this guy is apparently robbing him. So we're going to, as I mentioned, we're a paladin, and we're going to try to handle this the most honorable way. So we're just going to try to run after him. And he gets apprehended anyway, even though we don't really catch up to him. And we're going to go up to the Hall of Judgment. Apparently the court system does work quickly here. It may not be very equitable in terms of civil rights, for humans at least, but apparently you get a trial on the same day. And pretty much this guy, it's pretty much obvious that he is tried to rob, and pretty much he is now going to be deemed honorless. And in Tarna, that's a big deal because nobody can really deal with you. So he doesn't care. He doesn't realize the ways that the Lion Taurus, he doesn't care about honor. And now we went by that, but pretty much he's just declared his sentence was true, or was going to definitely be being held in dishonor. And now the Prince of Shapir, us, being called forward before the Lion Taur Council, and now we are being commended for just chasing after the guy. And once again, the head of the committee is commending us again, and we are going to actually go and deal with King Raja right now. But we are running a bit close towards the end of time, and I just want to mention that there are actually a few other ways for handling that situation, I believe you can click the hand on the person, on the thief if you get close enough, and you'll tackle him, and you get sort of the same response. You can do some dishonorable things though. If you throw a dagger at him, we have some left over from the last game. If you cast a spell, or if you actually knock over the fruit basket that one of the merchants has, you can cast him to fall over. He doesn't die. He just sort of, regardless of what happens, he just kind of gets knocked down. But you actually get rebuked for that, so you lose some honor points. I think if you just click your hand on him and jump him, you're okay still. But like I said, it was a little slow and hard to get that to work. I did get the fruit to work briefly, but I wasn't sure if I could capture it on video for you guys, so I didn't want to waste your time with that. And it's not all that interesting, but you do get, it's also not a good way to go because you've violated somebody's property rights and you lose honor points in that. And as a paladin, we certainly don't want that to be the case. Anyway, when we return, we'll deal with King Raja, but for right now, we're going to cut this one video short. So I'll be back in a bit, and hold tight.